9th, 2023, meeting at the Village of Western Springs Village Board of Trustees to honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the individuals who serve and protect our community. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Trustee Lewis.
Here.
Trustee Naraki.
Here.
Trustee Terrell.
Here.
All right, thank you very much. All right, after reading tonight's agenda, does any trustee have any additions or deletions?
We are going to pull off the waste storage or the covered storage off of by the properties and rec.
Okay,
They didn't get pricing in time for today.
okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Citizen comments. I don't see anyone in the room, but Ellen, no, okay. No citizen comments, great. All right, we will move on then to our committees, and we'll begin with Finance and Trustee Chen.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. A few things that we discussed at the Finance Committee last. Item A on the agenda, Agreement for Audit Services, Financial Year 2023. The completion of the financial year-end 2022 audit concluded the village's 3-year agreement with Sikich LLP, who serve as our auditors. They have submitted a proposal for a 1 year of services covering the financial year-end 2023 audit. The Finance Committee reviewed the proposal with staff. The Finance Committee felt the rates reflected the market and the level of expertise we receive. The Finance Committee recommends that a 1 year agreement be entered into with Sikich LLP for audit services for financial year 2023.
Why just 1 year?
Okay.
If we get 3.
Well, we did talk about this at length, but I will make sure I capture. Go ahead, yes.
Yeah, so it's been quite some time since we've done a requested proposal for the service. And we did. Due to new implementation that will take place for the 2023 audit and likely of the single audit, which is using federal funds, adds a lot more complexity to the audit, so we felt that 23 is not a good year to do that. So we would like to do an RFP for
Okay.
2024 services.
Things have changed since.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just practice. I mean, we're very, very happy with our auditors and everything they do. But it's just good practice to do due diligence to see what prices are.
Okay. Thank you. They've always been very thorough.
Good question, Trustee Terrell. We did talk about that at length in the committee, so we concur. Okay, item B, 2024 budget, 2023 levy update. The Finance Committee was provided an update on the status of the 2024 budget and the 2023 levy. I will also hand it over to Director Mastodona to provide an update on the next step.
I just want to give the board an update of where we are in both the processes and the steps we're looking to. Could you put your mic a little closer to you, please?
Yeah.
And the steps that we'll take in the next few months. Starting with the 2024 budget, everything that we covered now to see the department's request through the committees. They'll continue to go in the November cycle. Right now, the staff and the budget team are working together. Probably going into the November cycle, that'll be more finalized draft. It will still be draft form. In November, each board member will receive the final draft in book format, and it will also be posted to our website and available for in different areas such as the library and our front counter, so that the public can see it as well. The 2023 levy. This is still projections right now. We'll have more of a finalized estimate in November, and we'll go through our process in December. But as a non-home rule community, we're limited of the increase by property tax extension limited law. What this does is it limits the increase from 1 year to the next. The law specifies that increases are the lesser of 5% or CPI the preceding year, with an additional amount for new growth. CPI in 2022 was 6.5%. There's exceptions to this detailed limit, and there's general obligation and limited tax bonds. and also a special recreation levy. So our tax levy is separated into two sections, a capped portion and a non-capped portion. Right now, projections, the capped portion would have an increase of 6.95%, which assumes a 5% CPI and 1.95% growth. This would give us an additional 441,000 in funds compared to the previous year. What makes up this majority of this amount, 83%, is the pensions. Of the cap portion, it is operations, police pension, fire pension, and IMRF. That is the employer side of the contributions. The police, the contribution request provided by the actuary for the police pension is an increase of $312,000 compared to last year. So taking those three pension amounts, it's $365,000. So that is where we're seeing most of that increase going for next year. That is due to demographic changes in the fund and also just the investments. 2022. We have seen things back up in 2023 on the investment side, but this is a look back at where it was December 31st, 2022. So in November, we will pass a resolution on the estimated tax levy. This will be introduced on November 13th. And it will be voted on November 27th. This is just an estimate. Then it will go through the process. December 4th, we'll have a budget hearing and also a tax levy hearing, with December 18th being the approval. A lot of these dates are strategically placed to make sure we get notices published in time and that we are able to get everything filed within time. So I would just request that all the board members check their calendars, kind of goes along with holidays, and just to make sure that we are all available and have quorum for around. We could.
That was a lot. Thank you. Questions? Director Mastinota, so just to walk me back through the math, tell me the total dollar value of that increase again, and then what the police pension portion of that would be. And yes, he's going to bring you a different mic because that's not working very well.
So right now, our projected amounts are, it would give an increase of 441,000.
440,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Of that, the police pension portion of that increase is 312,000.
Okay.
About 2,000 for the fire pension. A total of about 50,000 for IMRF.
So then you end up with approximately,
About $75,000 for
that's,
operations.
that's what I was getting at. So
And
that,
sorry, and that's also including new growth. That is just an estimate. So and that is reduced by the county when they actually calculate the new growth. So that 1.95 is probably overshooting it a little bit.
Okay.
But we have to make sure we are able to capture all the new growth.
okay.
So we would probably potentially see that $75,000 increase for operations reduced down.
Oh, so the 75,000 is basically best case scenario?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay. So the implication for that is then that budgets for 2024 basically have to say flat or decline to stay within that.
Correct, yes, yeah. And staff has been doing a phenomenal job with the CPI being 6.5%. That affects our costs as well.
Right.
So we're doing everything we're able to do to be able to cut things out that we're able to, but we want to maintain the level of services that we provide the community.
Yeah, I appreciate that's a challenge, and appreciate everybody working hard at trying to do the best we can within that. But that's tight. Any further discussion or questions on that? Trustee Chen, anything?
I mean, no, we discussed that also at length in committee, and yeah, I mean, amazing that CPI is 6.5%, first of all. But yes, it goes right into the cost and then the pension station. So yeah, we're thankful, and hopefully the fire department can continue on its paid on call, because a lot of other communities have a fire pension as well. So it does eat into municipalities' budgets. I don't know. Trustee Lewis, anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and item C, budget amendment and transfer. Okay, so the amendment. The Finance Committee reviewed the budget amendment requested by the Director of Municipal Services for vehicle purchases. That will be covered in more detail in the Public Works and Water Committee report. The 2023 budget included 1-year lease costs and outfitting for 2 dump trucks for a total of $120,000, split among 3 funds, the capital, water, and sewer funds. The total amendment being requested is $177,000, split equally among the 3 funds. This is for the ability to order a dump truck and purchase a tractor in 2023. And the transfer, the Finance Committee also reviewed a budget transfer request for another vehicle purchase. The request is to transfer $36,800 from the building improvement line item to the vehicle line item in the capital improvement fund. This is just a transfer of where funds are being expended and no change to the overall budget. The Finance Committee recommends the budget amendment and transfer be approved by the board. Questions? Okay, that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to general government. Trustee Terrell.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few short items on the agenda. The first being the publication of next year's 2024 Board of Trustees meeting schedule. We are required to make our yearly schedule public. As you can see, our usual meetings are on the 2nd and 4th Mondays of the month, although there are some exceptions for 2024. In March, because of spring break and holiday scheduling, we will have 1 meeting, that being on March 11th. In May, because of Memorial Day falling on a Monday, the proposed schedule moves the meetings to the 1st and 3rd Mondays. While, like this year, June, July, and August, we will just have a single meeting on the 3rd Monday of those respective months. In December, because of the time needed, as Director Mastroeni just told us, for the budget and levy approval, the 2 meetings will be in the 1st and 3rd week of the month. This will be voted on the omnibus later this month. Second item we discussed was our budget, our committee's budget for 2024. This will be, as we just mentioned, presented later in more detail in November. Some of the specific things that we went over that will be brought forth to you will be an insurance renewal with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We'll be changing how we classify positions in the pay plan. There's the elected officials budget, including recognition events, WSBA contributions, and also contributions to the West Central Municipal Conference and its DuPage counterpart. And it's, we felt the last few years it's beneficial to belong to both associations. We also discussed the upcoming Lakeside waste handling contract will be up for renewal in 2024. No further questions. That's all I would have to report.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Planning and zoning, Trustee Naraki.
Thanks, Madam President. I don't have a report this month, but I'm hoping to have one next month for you.
Okay, thank you. Public health and safety, Trustee Lewis.
Thank you, President Rudolph. Just a few items to report out from our committee meeting last week. As you may have noticed on your way in to Village Hall this evening, the fire department is hosting an open house next door as part of its observance of Fire Prevention Week, which continues through October 14th. Fire Chief Kelly also let us know at our meeting that the department will be conducting fire training soon at a soon-to-be demolished Western Springs house in the near future, and is also updating the license agreement that we use with the participating property owners. Police Chief Gahuli told us the village has contracted with a service that will provide a social worker to help the police department when needed. The social worker may, for example, be used to connect families in need with social service providers, or in other cases, assist Western Springs officers on calls where mental illness may be a factor. The chief also said the department will soon once again offer the police sergeant promotional exam. The promotional exam. The exam scores are part of the process used to develop a ranking of eligible candidates, and the resulting list is good for 3 years. The chief also told us that the village has hired a new police officer, and that's especially good news because we have been short-staffed for some time now, and the department is also hoping to fill 2 more spots in the near future. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Any questions from anyone? Okay, those are some good updates. Thank you. All right, moving on to Properties and Recreation, Trustee Avakian.
Madam President. We also went over our budget for 2024. And one of the things we also talked about is there's a bunch of chairs, lunchroom chairs, that some have no arms and holes in them, and they're not in the condition to be donated. So we need to scrap them, declare them a surplus. And then we talked about a proposed code revision for the urban forest management plan. I will let someone help me explain that a little better.
Absolutely. In your packet this evening is a memo that outlines some additional language proposed for Section 5-5-3 of the Municipal Code. Earlier this summer, our staff, Village Forester and Superintendent Brakey, had a check-in meeting with the Morton Arboretum. The Morton Arboretum is the agency who we coordinate for a lot of our forestry grants, specifically any grants we've had from through the National Forest Service. That includes the tree inventory that we did a couple of years ago in 2019, as well as the recent grant we've got this year for replacement of trees both on the Harvey Avenue and Central Avenue project. As part of that review, they indicated that there's some updates we need to put into our municipal code to meet the current standards and remain eligible for future grant funding for both the Urban Forestry Management Plan and our code. The section updated in the code is some standardized language from the Arbor Day Foundation, which runs the Tree City USA program. You can see it's outlined in the memo. It's pretty straightforward. It's mostly taken right from their template. The red highlights are some adjustments I made based on the unique situation of our municipality and the way we're set up. Attorney Jerusic's office is going to review that for any final tweaks or changes that might need to be made. And then the final proposed change is simply for the Urban Forestry Management Plan. They asked that we include the insurance requirements that we include in our contracts into the Urban Forestry Management Plan directly. So I've just copied and pasted. This is the exact language we have in all of the village contracts proposed to go into the Urban Forestry Management Plan, and we would include that as an appendix in that plan.
Any questions about our changing of code language?
Nope, I don't think so.
And then the storage, material storage containers, we don't have a quote yet for, so we're going to push that further until we have that. And that's all I have for that.
All right, very good. Thank you for that report. All right, Public Works and Water, Trustee Fink, who's not here.
Back to
That
me.
will be back to Amy.
So we also discussed the budget for 2024 in that committee, and as well as the vehicle purchases that Nicole had kind of suggested. And you guys have a little, oh no, this is the valve thing. It was for the dump truck, the the money's split up into 3 parts, but it's for 3 vehicles, right?
For the dump truck, are you referring to the?
Yeah, for the purchases we have to make, the vehicles.
Yeah, so the village purchases in general, typically the way vehicle purchases for the municipal services department at least, are split up across the capital fund, water fund, and sewer fund, because most village vehicles for our department operate across that scope within our operations.
So they were looking at a John Deere tractor and dump truck. Wasn't there a third? And a replacement of a fire admin vehicle.
Now, are we leasing these?
No, so we originally had in the budget for this year to try and lease vehicles. We've been not able to coordinate to get vehicles leased this year, so if you recall, back in July, the village board authorized Manager Bear to purchase 2 vehicles, administrative vehicles for $50,000 each. The fire administration vehicle is one of those vehicles. We are in the process of trying to secure a second vehicle, which I believe is a police department vehicle, for the second one. And then the additional vehicles in here is because we were not able to secure leases for the village public works trucks, what we asked to do is reallocate those funds this year because we wouldn't be able to afford the purchase of trucks, reallocate that towards the replacement of a John Deere tractor that we use primarily for central business district uses. And then the final item in here is not actually a budget item per se this year. It is because of the lead time on dump trucks. If you look at the memo, we have approximately 300 to 400 days lead time to order the chassis for a large dump truck, and then additional 120 to 180 days for upfitting of that truck. What we need to do is, for a dump truck that's scheduled for replacement in 2025, is put the order in now, which unfortunately also requires us to put a purchase order in. So tied into the earlier report this evening from the Finance Committee is a budget amendment for that. There won't be any funds actually expended this year, but we need to get the purchase order and the appropriate accounting in place for us to put that order in.
But you're like putting the money aside, right? It's like being sort of,
You're obligating the dollars.
Yes.
But in
Right.
order to do that, it has to be in our budget.
Yeah. The lead times are purely because of the backlog that you've had for the past couple of years with supply chain issues. And it's still just continuing forward, because all of those orders from 2 or 3 years ago are now also getting filled now, and it's spilled forward.
and then we talked about, we got all those hydrants were delivered the first week of March. And they started replacing some of the fire hydrants, but in doing that, they found out that some of the valves also needed to be replaced instead of just the hydrant itself. And we do not have the machinery that we need to replace some of these valves, so we've contacted a plumbing company, Cal City Plumbing, and for them to help us replace some of these valves, we got an estimate not to exceed $27,785. And these funds are available in the Water System Capital Fund. So we're hoping to use that to replace the valves. One is at 49th and Central, 1 Grand and Burlington, 1 47th and Woodland specifically need attention.
Okay.
And that is all.
Okay.
Any questions?
All right. No, okay, very good. Thanks very much. I think that concludes our committees. So we'll move on to reports. Beginning with mine, we have one of our commissions, the Plan Commission, where we have a reappointment and an appointment that were in your packet. So the first would be the reappointment of Peter Glimko as chair of the Plan Commission. That would be for a 3-year term set to expire in December 2025. And then the other appointment would be of Steve Winiger as a member of the Plan Commission for a 3-year term to expire in October 2026. Any questions about the commissions? Okay, great. Yeah, we're fortunate to have residents who are interested and willing to serve in these capacities. So very grateful to both Peter and Steve for that. The other item, just to update everybody on, I think it was, no, I'm not going to know the date, Manager Baird, that we had, let's see if I can find that really quick. We had, on just the 29th of September, the Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi and 3 members of his staff, at their request, came out and met with us just to help us all understand the assessment process, to offer their services. They shared some practices that had been working well in other communities. They are offering to put together kind of a workshop here with us in the village to help residents understand how they could go through an appeal process. And overall, I would say it was a very productive meeting with some really good information sharing from the assessor's office. They're making a real outreach. I think he said it was the 70th community that they had visited, and in that kind of setting with that kind of a meeting, in terms of just asking a lot about our village, getting to understand some of the various parts of the community, even understanding some of our areas where we've had some flooding issues, et cetera, just so they had a better understanding of the community, and again, offering us some suggestions and ways that we can work even better with them. That just overall my take from it is how it overall benefits all of us, all of the residents in the community, if everything is sort of fairly and accurately assessed. So I was very impressed at their outreach and at the information that we got from it. So,
I've actually been to one of those seminars. Lions, they're very informative, and they really have the process
Okay.
streamlined online. You have to drive downtown anymore.
Yes.
It's all,
Good.
but they were very
Yeah.
good at describing the process and explaining
Yeah.
it well.
yep. So, and I have nothing further. So with that, Manager Bear?
I just have a couple of items. Residents should have received an orange 2023 leaf pickup program postcard in the mail this past week. Village leaf pickup does not begin until Monday, October 23rd, so leaves should not be raked to the curb before Friday, October 20th. We are starting to see some folks get excited about leaves and put them in the street. Any leaves raked to the curb before October 20th could contribute to blocked storm drains and localized street flooding when it rains. So as a reminder, the best way to dispose of leaves right now is to mow and mulch them and put them back into the lawn. Curbside collection alternatives are available through LRS, our waste hauler. Leaves can be placed in a brown paper bag with stickers or in rented yard waste carts that are available through LRS. We have plenty of information about this on the village website. If anyone didn't receive a postcard, they can check there. But with rain expected this week, I would ask residents to periodically check the storm drains in their area and ensure they're free from debris. The other item that I had is about our prescription drug take-back program. Long-awaited item has come to Western Springs. The police department is working with the Cook County Sheriff's Department and partnering to help prevent medication misuse and water supply contamination by providing the drug take-back program drop box that is outside our Village Hall front door. We do have 2 drop boxes there. One is labeled for drug take-back and one is water bills and other village business. So please be very careful what you put in what box. Residents may drop off any expired, unused prescription or non-prescription medication in dry or pill form. No liquids, syringes, or loose medications are allowed in the drop box. Prescription drugs should never be flushed down drains, toilets, or placed in the garbage, and so this is really a nice alternative. For years, we've been able to use the one in LaGrange. Their police department has had one, but Chief Gilhooly was able to arrange this partnership with Cook County Sheriff's Department, and we're very grateful to have a local drop site.
That's great.
That's all.
That's great news. Village Attorney Jerusalem.
No report tonight.
All right, thank you very much. All right, then we are going to adjourn and recess to close meeting. And I will look to Trustee Terrell for that motion.
Yes, I would have a motion to adjourn the workshop village board meeting and recess to close meeting for the purpose of discussing, 1, collective negotiating matters between the village and its employees or the representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more class of employees pursuant to 5 Illinois compiled statute 120/2 And number 2, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor at a park, recreational, or educational setting, or a volunteer of the public body or against a legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act. That's pursuant to 5 Illinois compiled statute 120-/2(c)(1).
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second that motion.
All right. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Bacon.
Aye.
Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Fink is absent. Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki.
Aye.
Trustee Terrell.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, very good. We will adjourn to closed session. Thank you.
Same here.